Hi, we are Engineering Brothers, and once again we have come out with our another interesting problem from the section of our signal flow graph over here. And this is going to be our last problem. And you can do feel that we have shown you all the steps for our signal flow graph over here. And I have chosen this additional section for all these chosen problem over here. Why? Because there are lots of confusion over there, and if you try to improve your concepts or try to clear your confusion, you should do more solution over there. That is why I have chosen this additional section to have solved or to give you the proper understanding of this given solution for our signal flow graph over here. I have already solved our 5 problems or 5 important problems over there. If you have missed in our previous videos, please do follow our previous videos. On those parts, I have shown you how to solve these given problems over there. In this given problem, we should start with our, as per our considered part over here. At the first stage, we should first find out our forward paths over here. Now, our first step should be our forward paths. Okay? Our first step should be our forward paths. What seems to be our forward paths over there, and what is the exact definition for our forward path? It clearly states that it has started from RS and it has ended at our YS without changing any direction of this arrow. Quite naturally, I want to repeat this portion once again about the definition of this forward path analysis over there. It has started from RS and it has ended at our YS without changing the direction of that signal. Okay? Clearly, I do see that there are 2 forward paths which are present over here. The first forward path seems to be this one, which is from RS to this G1, G2, G3, G4, G5 and this one. Now, the overall gain for that will be, or overall gain for that forward path will be, just simply multiply this path gains over there in order to follow or in order to reach from RS to YS over there. Now what seems to be the gain for that forward path? The gain for that forward path will be our G1, G2, G3, G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. This one will be our first forward path over here. And in our next stage, we have got our another forward path, which is 1 multiplied by G6 and 1, which give us only the G6. Okay? Now this is going to be our first step over here in order to have the first 2 forward paths over there. Now in our next stage, we should find out our individual loops over there in order to form the expression for our delta. Now as we have reached up to our destination for our 2 forward paths over there, now according to our Mason gain formula or according to our consideration over there, the exact formulation for our signal flow graph will be our transfer function, which is output divided by input, which is YS divided by RS. That one should be, as we can do see that we have got 2 forward paths over here, quite naturally, the P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta over here. In our next upcoming stages, we should find out the expression for our delta, then delta 1, delta 2 over there. To find out the delta, we should consider the individual loops over there. Now this is the formulation for our transfer function. If you try to find out the transfer function for our signal flow graph, and we have applied the Mason gain formula to have the transfer function analogy over here. As we have got 2 forward paths, because of that the formulation do stopped right over here. If there are many number of forward paths over there, then this one, the numerator portion will be followed after that, which is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 plus P3 delta 3, a 4 number of forward paths over there, which is P4 delta 4, and it goes on like that. Okay? Now our next step, we should find out the individual loops over there. What are the individual loops? Let us find out that one. Individual loops. What are our individual loops over there? If we say that our first individual loop will be L1, what is the definition for a loop? If we have started from any node and that goes on over there, and if there is making any feedback over there, and it is been coming to the same node over there, or same node over that has started from over there, that is the definition of our loop. If I say, if we draw a loop over here, say I should consider this one. From this we have got the gain for our G2, and up to this one it has ultimately come back over here as our minus H1. Clearly you do see that the signal do have started from this node and it goes on towards our another node over there, and from that node it is been making a comeback over here. Now this is actually making a loop over there. Now that is the definition for our individual loops over here. Now quite frankly, in this case we have got the gain for this loop will be our minus of our G2 H1. For the next part we should say, for our next loop I can say that another loop will be formed over there, which is this one is G3, this one is our minus H2. For this one we should say that this loop as our L2, and the following gain for that loop will be our minus of G3 H2. Just the multiplication, a simple multiplication of this two gain paths over there, and the loop for that considered part will be our minus of G3 H2. Similarly, for our next following part we have got the individual loop of L3 over there, and for that one we should once again change the gain for the considered part, which is this one is quite naturally our G4, and this one will be interchanged as our minus of H3. You can clearly see according to our diagram. Now for that considered part, the loop for that one should be our minus of G4 H3. Okay. Now we should consider our another set of loops over there, which is, if we do follow the upper part of our considered part, then we have got our another set of equation for our considered loop over there, or individual loop over here, which is this one. Now clearly you can see that this one is our G2 and this one will be our minus H4, and quite naturally we have got the loop for this considered part will be our quite naturally our, what is that gain for that loop? The gain for that loop will be our minus of our G2 H4. Okay. Similarly for our next loop, which is this one will be changed as our G3, and this one will be changed as our H5. Now what is that loop for that following part? The loop for that following part will be our minus of our G3 H5. Okay, and for that next part we have got this one will be our changed as our G4. Quite naturally this one will be our G4 and this one will be our H6. Okay, now for that one we have got our another loop over here, another individual loop over here, which is quite naturally our minus of G4 H6. Okay, now in our next part we have got our another set of loops over here. Let us just show you over here once again. That particular loop will be quite naturally, it has started from this point, and just do that. Now if you just do say this one is our G6 and it has making a comeback at this part as our minus H7. Now quite naturally the loop for that particular path will be considered or named as L7, and for that loop considered part we have got this one will be a minus of G6H7 over here. Okay. Now in our next part we should follow up with our considered individual loop, or how to find out the individual loops over there. Before I go into that, I want to remind you over here once again, please do follow our classes, because you can do feel that we have chosen the special one solution over here that will not only improve your concepts but clarify your doubts over there. That is the specialty of our engineering biology classes. What are you waiting for? Please do follow our classes, do follow our channel, and keep on solving this type of interesting problems over there. You can do challenge me just by sending some interesting problems over there, or do comment regarding that one over there. If you still have any doubts, please let us know in the comment section for better understanding. Do like, do share our videos, and keep following our channel. Just word from an expert. If you like my video, so what are you waiting for? Please do subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon for more updates, and stay tuned to the channel. Thank you and goodbye.